Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Q&A. I'm ready for you, so go ahead and fire away. Don't be shy. Just ask anything you want to know. I'll do my best for you. What makes the full moon Seva ceremony different from other depth healing practices? Full moon Sevas are completely different. Why? For a fundamental reason, a full moon Seva is specifically between you and God, you and your divine. And I'm acting as a link up. So normally like people will say, why do we need that? We're already connected to God. That's true. However, I have a specific special type of empowerment. So I'm able to plug in to a very strong connection. Okay. So I plug in, and then we're all gathered together at the same time, presenting our prayers at the same time. That is what's so enormously important. One, that I have the empowerment to call in the divine and sort of say, like, hello, over here. We're all here together and we want your attention. Then you're going to present your specific prayers all at the same time. So it's a very loud voice to the universe. And I'm going to invoke specific mantras that bring in specific grace and specific attributes from the divine for you. The sevas have nothing to do with me at all. When I do a depth healing session, you're having a combination of the divine working through quantum physics for you, and I'm the channel. So then when you're doing depth healing sessions, my expertise, my 5 decades of experience and so forth, that all comes to bear. None of it comes to bear in a full moon seva. That's just you and God. Okay, does that answer that question? What should I expect out of a seva ceremony? What you should expect is this: the divine is going to answer those prayers. The only thing we don't know is when. For instance, I've done prayers in homas through India, which are the most powerful ceremonies of all ceremonies. And I'm able to join as homas because I'm in the 81,000. And some of my prayers were not answered yet. We don't know when, but the prayer will be answered. That's what you should expect. What will next year's full moon be about? What will next year's full moon be about? Oh, I see, because I've been focused on the programs. Yeah. Well, okay, so that's a nice question. There are 10 programs that control all life, everything. And each one is, very vast and very big. So we're going to be cycling through those again. Just like Sri Bhagavan and Sri Amma do, I mirror Sri Amma Bhagavan's 81,000 pattern. So I take my lead from Sri Amma Bhagavan, so that it's not just Grant Kruhly, Dr. G's experience or ideas or anything like that. I'm following the divine, and so that we are aligned with the divine, because the divine has got a specific agenda for us and the planet and the world. So because I'm a senior Sevak in the 81,000. So we're on the front lines. This work that we're doing is highly significant. So my position there is to follow the divine. Not I don't go off on my own. And we will cycle through. In the 4 years that I've been in the 81,000 now, which is the four years, it's been in existence for 4 years. I've been on there since the beginning, and they cycle through all 10 programs every time. So we're going to be following that, and every single time it changes, and it changes quite dramatically, especially now. Things are speeding up at an enormous rate. That's why it's so important to get in for your privates, to do the collectives, to stay on top of everything. Okay, next. What's the best way to find our true life purpose? That's a lovely question. So one of the ways to find your true life purpose is one, so you need personal time, eh? Shut off the phone, shut off the computer, be somewhere where you have absolute quiet. And it won't just be one day or something. And then you connect up with the divine or the universe in your own way. And then you pose the prayer question, show me and help me find my true life purpose. Have a pen and paper in front of you. Close your eyes for a while and then open your eyes and just start to journal and think and journal and let the inspiration from the divine come to you. And it may take a while, but it'll come to you. But you need to ask and shut off all electronic, everything that would draw your mind, pull you in any direction at all. You must contemplate and pray and write. Be with yourself and let whatever comes come. Eventually it will gel. What's the best? Okay, that's the same one. How does the energy of the full moon amplify the effects of the? How does the full moon amplify? Okay, so you know what a tide is. The tide, ocean rises, ocean goes down. What a lot of people don't know is even the earth, the the mud where the trees are and that. It also rises and falls with the moon. It has a massive amount of power. It has gravitational pull, electromagnetic pull, has so many things. All of the celestial bodies, all of the celestial bodies, as far as their telescopes can see, and beyond that, have a pull on us and an effect on us. That's the basis of astrophysics. So what happens is, depending on that, when the moon is full, so that's would depend. When the moon is full, its power and effect on us is at its greatest. There are other mystical, metaphysical things involved, but fundamentally, it just amplifies. All you have to do is take the time to look at a full moon. You know, I notice here in Thailand, full moons are magnificent because the sky is so clear. We don't have chemtrails, and I will look up, and as soon as I see the full moon, I pray right away. I do Mula Mantra right away. And I watch the other people. Nobody even looks up. They're not aware of it, but it's still having an effect on them. And what it will amplify, remember, what it's going to amplify is your state, the level of consciousness you have at the time. So in the bars, the rough kind of bars, where I used to work as a bouncer, on full moons, that's when all the fights happen. It amplifies their temper. For spiritual people, it amplifies peace and love. It that's what it does. So we use that because, and also at full moons, we're we're conjoined to all other spiritual people because the consciousness rises with all those kind of groups and people, the Buddhists, the heart math people, and who's ever group. That all raises the collective consciousness of that geophysical area of the earth looking at the full moon. that's aware of the full moon. Um, I'm not sure if you understand that, but that's why you do spiritual work real early in the morning, before everybody wakes up and before all the busyness, because the busyness, and as they wake up and they're looking at their computers, there's all kinds of fear and all kinds of stress, and that makes the field like fog. All a mess, and it's much harder to connect to the divine. It's much harder to do any kind of spiritual work. Well, it's the same thing when there's a full moon and we're conjoined like that. All, not just us, but everyone that is participating in whatever way they participate for the full moon, that lifts the collective of that geophysical area of the earth. So we're part of that. Those are some of the reasons, and that's some of the ways it does it. How to stay in complete peace. I love this question. Thank you. How to stay in complete peace in spite of your environment. When you can do that, then you have real high level consciousness. If you can stay at peace in a chaotic environment, it means you're superior to the environment. This is something Joe Dispenza was specially trained to do from Ramtha, because he was in the advanced classes at Ramtha School of Enlightenment for many, 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 many years. And he told me, I had dinner with him one time in, I want to say 2004, in Houston, Texas. And he was describing to me the special training that they did. We're able to do it in a much easier because of Diksha and the great compassionate light and the kind of work that depth healing does. But what you have to have is the fundamental pillars that create fear or stress have got to be unplugged or dissolved. Because what happens is the environment is just playing you like a keyboard. It plays all of us like a keyboard. If the negative triggers are brought down or removed, you have all of the other triggers for peace and happiness. You have both kinds. The issue is to delete, dissolve, and remove the negative triggers. So in order to be able to be at peace in spite of the environment, that's why you stay vigilant with me in this kind of practice, or whatever kind of practice that it is you want to do. As long as it's effective and it actually does dissolve triggers and cognitive dissonance and fears and imprints and post-traumatic stress syndrome, that's what depth healing does. And that's why I'm so different. And I'm above the environment in many areas. I'm not above the environment in other areas at all. I have lots of work to do. We all have lots of work to do. Does depth healing help with calmness and character? Absolutely. That's one, Robbie. That's one of the most important of all things. See, when you go to die someday, all you're going to have with you is who and what you are, what your state is, what your character is. Charisma is the ability to influence people and things like that. But that doesn't mean it's character. Hitler had charisma. That's why everybody followed him in Germany that time. Charisma doesn't mean much. Character means everything. Character is inner integrity. And then if they have inner integrity and outer integrity, it's even more powerful. And character is who you are when no one's looking. Everything depends on that. So when with depth healing, you are always evolving and refining to your true self, your authentic self, not a fake persona or a mask. Through depth healing and the Diksha, now that I have the permission to give Diksha again, I'm a fairly significant Diksha blesser. And through that, all of the fake is pruned away. It's just pruned away. It just falls. There's nothing you need to do. You just what all you need to do is have sessions so that your brain and your consciousness are being cleaned and elevated. Okay, I hope I answered that question for you. How do we forgive betrayal and let go of resentment and anger? Two ways. One, first and foremost, is if you start to understand and can truly see, really understand that everybody and everything that you see, it's just programming. It's all programming. Just like if you have 100 pristine, top level, beautiful laptop computers, they're all brand new. And each one of them, you put a different virus in. The virus is running the computer. That's all you're looking at. So once you understand that, that will help you forgive. Number two, once you understand that thinking and thought doesn't have anything to do with you. That's why Eckhart Tolle, every meditation master on the planet since time began, makes their method of meditation to show us your thoughts have nothing to do with you. They're just coming in and going, coming and going. And human dilemma is we identify with the thought because we think we're thinking. You're not. You never were, and you never will. It's just thought from the thought spheres like a giant fog, eh? And all the thoughts are millions and millions of years old. Nothing has changed from the caveman to now. Fear is still fear. It's only that the subject of the fear is different. Cavemen don't know about the stock market, but the thoughts just come and go. So what happens if it's a meditation way, you find out, if you're working with me, you'll be able to see very clearly and very quickly. Won't take you 20 years. And you can see the thoughts. And then when you can see that and they just go, and you'll realize they're not yours. So the guy that betrayed you is operating off of programming. It's a virus. The thoughts have nothing to do with them, nothing to do with you. And then what happens is forgiveness just occurs. It just happens. It just dissolves. It's not I giving the Diksha now. I'm going to be doing the Diksha, but the divine is doing the blessing. That will automatically give you forgiveness. It has me. And boy, I'll tell you, I used to hold on to things of betrayal harder than a pit bull. Now it's just because my brain doesn't operate like that anymore. It's been altered. When you're receiving depth healing and Diksha, you will always receive Diksha at the end now of all my session. Your brain just changes. and all that stuff just disappears. Okay? Next question, please. How how to continue to love someone when they reject you? Okay, now I want to ask you a question. Are you talking about romantic love, or is this like a parent to their child? There's a difference. So qualify that for me. Kimberly, why do other light beings connect with me other than Sri Amma Bhagavan? I feel like many have been with me my whole life that I know about. Yeah, that's, I love that, Kimberly. So, Sri Amma Bhagavan are two, you could say, like big shots in the great compassionate light. They're two big heavyweights. And along with them is an entire uh, army, like a task force of great light beings. And the light beings come to you or to me, to all of you guys, and they support you, help you. They do surgery for your brain to elevate you toward enlightenment. They protect you. And each one of us, we have so many around us. They belong with us, and they're for us, and they love us. I have many clients who can see them. I've never heard of a man that can see them. It's always ladies, always is, but they can see them, and they everyone says they're really quite tall. Uh, but yeah, you have, and they're around you. They love you. They're for you. They are assigned to you. They're special to you. And then you can think of Shriyama Bhagavan as like the CEO. Okay, does that help you? How to continue to love someone when they reject you? Okay, so what I want to know in that question is to love someone if they reject you. I'll say it this way: it's different with romantic love and, let's say, a parent to a child, because I have parents, their children have grown up and are rejecting the mom or the dad, which breaks mom and dad's heart, of course. um, I myself, when I was a younger boy, I was very angry at my parents. Didn't understand so many things, um, love is one way. That's all. Love is one way. What the other person does is none of your business. That's how you continue to love. Because if it's real love, it's automatic. No problem. It's no problem. Love is one way, period. And everything else, if there's caveats to that, it's not love. End of story. Okay, how to continue. Okay, so I hope that helps you. How do we connect with our spirit guides more clearly and trust their guidance? Sometimes I doubt my sense. Yeah. Takes experience. And you also have to make sure that you're not being guided by um, or fooled by an entity or some other dark force or something. There are lots and lots of, there's an endless array of beings and all kinds of varieties. And the ETs are there. There's so many things. So I myself had to go through quite a process over decades until I'm with the great compassionate light. The way you make the connection is by talking, invoking. Call them, use their name if they have a name 3 times. or invoke them 3 times. And then to make the relationship, you talk in a very respectful way. The more sacred you are, the better. But be careful who you're calling. I used to try, I did for quite a while, like a Wiccan, to talk to elementals and everything. I don't recommend that. Always strive for the great compassionate light, because that is the apex. There is nothing, the only thing above the great compassionate light is universal intelligence itself. Nothing is above the great compassionate light. When you die, you do not go in front of Wiccan elemental things. You have to go in front of the light. Period. End of story. You have to go in front of the light. So what I do, and when you're with me and we're together, this is strictly the great compassionate light only. If you go in front of the light after you die and you have to go into a lower realm, then you'll go to the elementals, or you can go below that, and there's all the layers, eh? But the trick is, when you want your guides and teachers, always the highest of the high, they're all available. Archangel Michael is available. They're all available. Whoever you want, they'll come for you. But you must call them and request them. Okay? How do we know their names? You know what? I can't answer that. Nobody's ever given me a name. You know, I've tried that and tried that and tried that, and I've never gotten. Now, I've met people. Some of them, their guides will tell them. They get a name. You know. In my case, I'll give them a name, or I call classics. So in my case, I have Sri Amma Bhagavan to handle, my everything, and that's who I serve. But I have a task force from the Great Compassionate Light. The task force is Lord Ganesha, his mother, Goddess Lakshmi, Lord Vishnu. They handle my business and my wealth. I have Lord Padmasambhava, who is my assistant and empowerment for doing depth healing specifically. And I have Goddess Mahashri, who is in the pantheon under Padmasambhava from Tibet. And those are my go-to, and they're known. But I've never had, in all the years that I've tried, I've never had someone answer me with a name. Is it necessary to set specific intentions, or does the divine handle everything during the ceremony? Always set specific intentions. If the divine has some overarching plan for you, like when they guided me to crash a car off a highway but never get hurt, and all of that, I did not have that intention. So that's some overarching plan, and I don't know anything about it, and you're never going to know anything about it either. That's none of our business. What you do is, as a human being, everything is by intention. Everything is by intention. And then, whether it's granted or not granted, sometimes the divine won't answer a prayer right away, because if it answered that, something really terrible would happen to you. Like I maybe have crashed off the highway and with no injury at all, which saved me from a possible head-on collision where I would have been dead, or brain dead, or disfigured, and all kinds of stuff. Nobody knows. That's in divine hands. But when you want to do some anything in your life, because we are in what is known as karma bhumi. This is the 3D physical world, and you're in a physical body. So you have to make intentions and take action. Nobody can just sit on their bottom and make intentions and drink cognac and the divine will do everything. No, we have to use our energy and take action. So you make the intention first, take the action, and then you have to receive grace. And you'll receive the grace. Whether they know they receive grace or not, it's always better if they know. Because if you know what grace is and you can recognize it, it will increase. If you don't recognize it, it'll do what it does. But if you recognize it and you are grateful for it, it will increase. Okay? Is it common to have such specific visions during meditation? It seems they are getting more and more real, especially, okay, Kimberly. So, um, it's common to people like you because you have a very strong bond and connection with your divine. The more bonded you are, the more you can have like visions or physical miracles in the home, in your life. Um, it'll come because there's such a connection. And in your case, specifically the lady Kimberly who's asking this question, has a very beautiful, strong bond. And the moment she opened up, there's just one thing after another that is lovely and amazing. And it's different for every human being. Every single human being, it's it's completely different, but it'll be there. It'll be there to the extent of the bond and your karma. Some people have a nice bond, but their karma is um, small. Some people, their karma is really big. The karma can be good or negative, but all those things are involved. You have seven koshas, you have seven bodies or seven sheaths. If all and the Anandamaya kosha is the top. So if the Anandamaya kosha is aligned and clean and everything and empowered, the other six koshas all align under it. So all of us are the degree to which each of the koshas is either clean or it has chaos in it. It's active, it's not active, and that's all related with the chakras. It's very, very complicated. We can't go into all that now, but all of that influences what kind of visions or experiences you have during your meditations, or if you're like me, when you do mantra practice, worship. It's the main word to say is it all depends. Okay, next question, please. How does depth healing, not death healing, depth healing help with getting rid of or helping with high cholesterol, cortisol? Very easy. Let's say, for instance, I have a real high anxiety client, and cortisol is just, they're pumped up on cortisol 24/7. It's going to burn them out. I remove the stressors. I detox the stress out first. But when I detox stress, I'm going to go down and find out why they're stressed in the first place relative to their life at this moment when they're seeing me. And as I do that, cortisol will not be activated. The amygdala will not be activated. It'll relax. Blood will come back into the frontal cortex. Cortisol just drops right out. You can see that in heart math, just simple heart math, 5 minutes, cortisol will drop 45%. And all that is just changing state. I not only change your state, I change the reality of your consciousness. So the state remains. Eventually you'll get a steady state, and cortisol will be little to nothing. Okay? That's how the triggers that are touching off the amygdala, they have to be dissolved or removed. That's how you do that. How to deal with loneliness? That's a good question. That's an important question, because part of the tactic during this Third World War that we're in the middle of is to make you feel lonely. Now, as your consciousness rises, you start to understand and really feel connected. You can feel connected to everything because you actually are. From the sky to a tree to an insect, even my desk here, connected with you guys, you'll feel it. The loneliness will dissolve because you're never alone, ever. Simply because you exist. Because you exist, everything exists. Your existence is creating the other. And the other, whether it's a person, a plant, the sun, it creates you. Everything dependently arises and dependently ceases. So loneliness is a perception. And if you feel lonely, come in and see me and we'll dissolve that. It's a perception. And the perception is coming from the subconscious mind. And it's an illusion. But it can be very compelling. It can be so compelling people commit suicide. But it's not necessary. It all depends on consciousness. What is the level of consciousness? The higher the consciousness, you just exist in an arena of love. Now I'm not in that. I'm not at that level, but my level is fairly significant at this point in my development. I hope that helps you. This is Archana 1. How to break patterns which I have realized in my relationship, and how to forgive ourselves. Okay, answer number 1. You come over to you get in to see me so that we knock out the cause of whatever you've realized, because it'll be in the subconscious. And then that workshop that I'm doing it's this month, I think it's next week. I'm going to show you exactly how to change behavior. I'm going to teach you how to do that so that you have behavioral change. But when you want to break a pattern, you have to go into the subconscious. then what I'm going to teach you is the brain reprogramming, and that's an overlay. But always the most superior way is you knock out the subconscious issues first, so that pattern is removed. Number two, how to forgive ourselves for things we did. Um, I love that question. It's a very important question. So one is you have to realize, as I said earlier, when it comes to forgiveness, you were you were um, playing out programming, and that's why it's important to understand 95% of your life, everything is from the subconscious, not the conscious. Me too. Anybody can look back and you're like, why did I do that, or what did I do? I'm so sorry I did so and so. So you have to understand it's programming, and then the awareness of it, that it was there. You say, okay, that was then. I ask forgiveness. So when whoever I harmed, I forgive myself, I forgive them, and I give them permission to forgive me. And then state what you learned. See, you, with your whole life, all the way back, this is something good to do before New Year's. I've done it several times, and it's very valuable. You you go through your whole life, everything that was ugly, hurtful, terrible, all of it, and you rewrite it. You rewrite it according to what was positive, or what it gave you, how it strengthened you, what it what you learned from it, and you reframe all of that. What that's doing is showing you that your life from childhood forward was actually a beautiful gift, was all a gift, all of it. But you do it consciously yourself, and you'll see it'll change, and you'll uh, forgiveness is something that occurs automatically. You can't just say, "Oh, I forgive them." It, that's not true. It has to really, it falls away by itself. But you do the kind of homework I'm telling you, and you watch and see, uh, and get Deeksha from me as much as you can. Come to see me. Work on the subconscious. All the evolution, you have to work on the subconscious. You can't override it. Next. So she says, "Oh my God, that's crazy. I was just going to pull over and ask you about spirit animals because we were talking about spirit guides, but I was driving and my spirit animal, a deer, jumped in front of me." Oh, isn't that wonderful? Yes, those are the connections. My spirit animal is birds of prey, and they will also come to me in as praying mantises and butterflies. And my big boy is a hawk or an eagle, sometimes owls. That's wonderful, honey. Thank you for sharing that. How do I pinpoint what the message they are trying to send me? You know, that's a good question. Now, my master, Dr. Habersky, he would get like a very specific, direct answer. His bond with his spirit guides, with his divine, was so strong and so crystal clear and they were auditory. He can hear them, so he can do a dialogue. Now, in my case, I will ask a specific question to them, and with my kinesiology expertise, I can I can get my answers. And sometimes I can get, if I ask a question, like for instance, when I'm doing a depth healing session and I turn the session over to them so that I'm channeling, they literally guide and teach me, and it comes in my head. I don't hear words, but it just guides me. So the answer again, when it comes to that, is your personal bond. And the more you cultivate your bond, like right now, I'm trying to deepen my bond in very significant ways. And it's my communication with my divine. And I'm trying to make it much more um, intimate. So it's something you have to develop between you and them, and tell them, I really want to understand your message. Make it obvious to me. Make it obvious. And they will. No, I have no clairvoyance whatsoever. And even if I was, I'd never trust it. I would always cross check it with my kinesiology. My expertise with kinesiology took over a full decade to master. And it's one of my greatest tools, so that when I'm talking, I have accurate information. Most people who try kinesiology are inaccurate because they don't know how to remove entanglement. But Habersky taught me how to remove entanglement. And then I had to train and train and train and train. It took a long, way over 10 years to get there. And then finally, I can trust my answers 100%. The best form of meditation, in my opinion, is the kind I'm going to teach you in the workshop: energy meditation model. Consciousness model meditation, I never will recommend it to you ever, unless you can go to a monastery under a real true Zen master. And let me tell you something, that's not fun. Real meditation, people, it's not fun. Go try it for 2 days. But consciousness model, you can spend 60 years and go absolutely nowhere. Energy model meditation, 5 minutes. You don't need a high consciousness. The kind of meditations that Dispenza does are phenomenal, but they're phenomenally hard, and they require tremendous uh, grit, determination, time, and you cannot let up. But if you can do that, those meditations are very highly specialized. Next. Okay, thank you for all for coming. Are we done already? Oh my God, it seemed like 5 minutes. Love you all, guys. Love you all so much. Please don't miss the coming events. The collective that's up right or coming up right on it. It's enormously important. The last two are enormously important. They all are. And then the Seva, we have full moon coming up, and we have the discounts available to you guys. Use them. And if you have someone you love that's in trouble, give them the gift certificate. But and pass the word. My objective is to make a community, powerful community, so we can do work not only on ourselves but for the world. That's the subject here. Okay, and my whole life is designed only for that purpose. That's the only reason I was born. And I love all of you. Anybody that needs me, come on down and see me. Okay. So in 5 minutes, I have my first client for today. Thank you all so much. And I hope this holiday season is lovely for you. But please get in and see me, eh? Don't lose this critical time, and make the time for yourself in private, planning, contemplating, journaling. It's is so then you go into 2025. We'll make 2025 a very auspicious year despite calamities. Despite calamities are going to increase because of Kali Yuga, but we will make it auspicious despite that. Okay? Thank you all very, very much.